Hi, this is Professor JPS here in my sweatpants later in the evening. This is for Communication Arts 101, Section 1, March 11th, 2020. And this is the last unit for this particular chapter in advertising. In the last unit, we discussed Freud's theory of the subconscious mind, right? Now, as I said before, I'm no Freud expert, but I was saying the idea that Freud was trying to tap into our own subconscious to understand how it is that we can better understand the mind and better understand our impulses. As advertisers are interested in tapping into subconscious desires. And in the last unit, we discussed the id, its opposite, the superego, and the balance between those two things, the ego. And remember, the id represents all desires, regardless of consequence, and the superego is the opposite of that. It checks the desires and the drives of the id. And the ego is the balance between the two. And where advertisers come in is trying to tap into that subconscious desire. Advertisers often use what's called subliminal advertising. And I mentioned in the last sequence, if you get a chance, go to Google subliminal advertising, Google Images. And there you'll see a handful of ads that fit this model. One ad I want to show to you is the Joe Camel ad. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it. But if you go to any Joe Camel ad, and you see Joe Camel there on my computer, the face of Joe Camel. Now, often in advertisement, there's phallic imagery. And as you can see in the Joe Camel ad, there's phallic imagery with his nose, and his nose is coming down to a lined nostril that looks almost like female parts. Now, you'll have on your own, you have to look more carefully on your own when you go to Google Images in advertising, okay? And if you see some other ads in there, there's a FedEx ad that's a really interesting ad that it just has FedEx and you see the arrow in between the E and the X. You don't see it right away, but if you look carefully enough, you'll see it. It's there and not there simultaneously. There's a Burger King ad in the Google Images docs that shows a fairly sensualized idea about a young woman and she's eating a chicken sandwich. Now, some of these things are kind of sensualized and sensationalized and sexualized, but others are not. They're just into your subconscious desires. For instance, on the icon for the Wendy's hamburger place, there's a Wendy, the little girl Wendy, she has like a kerchief going across the top of her like a necklace, and it spells out, if you carefully look at it, mom. So it sort of subliminally suggests that it's home cooking, that it's better than fast food, and so forth and so on. Okay? Subliminal advertising works because it's there and not there simultaneously. And I would strongly suggest that you go to a Google search of subliminal advertisement, Google Images, and look around on there. Okay? So this has been 5 of Mass Communications 101, Section 1, March 11th, 2020. And that ends this session. Next week is spring break, but I may put up other posts, videos for the next section that we're going to be doing because it doesn't look like we're coming back to school until April. Okay? Stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll speak to you next week for Mass Comm 101, Section 1. Thank you.